Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Honest Take. Curtis here, and today we're talking about episode 8 of season 9 of The Walking Dead, titled Evolution, the mid-season finale. Spoiler warning. First off, this episode was insane. So freaking good. Post Rick Grimes era of The Walking Dead has been leading up to this moment. And man, was this episode fantastic. I think we all knew that the Whispers were coming, or most of us knew. But man, what a turn there in the graveyard. That was a shocking surprise to us all. I just want to say that we're going to miss Jesus. I know he was killed this way in the comics, but man, I really loved his character. And I loved how he was just a beast in terms of just taking care of business, being so stealthily and sneaky all the time. And it would have been cool to see more of Jesus and what he does and behind the scenes of kind of like, or just following his perspective of how he does things, maybe like, you know, in the style of like Assassin's Creed, just really sneaky and stuff. Anyhow, let's dive into this episode. So starting off, we're at Hilltop and we see Michonne there with the new group and Sadiq. And basically she's trying to drop him off in hopes that they'll take him in. There is some awkward tension between Michonne and Carol and some other characters, and that we aren't totally sure about what happened. But I'm sure it has to do with Rick dying. I'll actually have a separate video later on explaining why I think Michonne has so much resent towards Maggie, but that's a separate video coming later. So the rescue mission of Eugene with Daryl, Aaron, and Jesus, that's the supreme team. Like, who would want those three people, you know, trying to rescue them if they were in trouble? So they noticed the odd characteristics of the herd. We saw this in the preview of the remainder of the season after Rick was gone, how they were talking about the herd looks different, yada, yada, yada. They're acting strange. So something seems a little off. Then they find Eugene. He starts talking about them and how they whisper and how they're coming after him. And, you know, maybe they kind of think maybe he's lost a little bit. But they kind of just keep trying to move and get away from the herd. And, you know, they see them scrambling, and the herd ends up like doubling back when they try to lose it. A normal herd wouldn't do that. It's literally following them. It seems to have more of a sense of people or just direction than the brainless walkers that really, or really the thoughtless walkers that just follow sounds. So they kind of freaked out a little bit when this herd seemed a little different. Eugene starts talking about evolution. Maybe they've evolved. They're not sure what the case is. They have this plan. They split up. And man, I love this eerie vibe at night, and there's like fog and all this stuff. Daryl's like, you know, I'm gonna distract him, and you see Daryl try to distract him with some firecrackers, and they don't follow it. And right then Daryl's going crap, because he knows something's up for sure. This is like clearly obvious. They didn't go after the firecrackers, a sound that any walker would go after. That's a bad sign. So then we cut to the graveyard. Of course, it's a graveyard. And we see Eugene, we see Jesus, we see Aaron. You know, it's very foggy. They're trying to almost hide in the graveyard just to separate themselves from the walkers. And then they're stuck, right, with the gate. Michonne shows up, Magna shows up. So the new group basically comes to save them, and they dig out the gate so Eugene can get out because he has a hurt leg. Aaron follows. And then Jesus is like, I got it, I'll take care of him, and like catch up. And, you know, he's just going ham on these walkers and like doing really epic like ninja moves, like jumping up the air and slicing walkers with his like sword knife thing that he has, and pretty much a machete. And then there's one walker left when he's about to leave and head out the group. He goes to swing at the head, it ducks, tucks under him, spins around, and stabs him right in the back in front of everyone. And then immediately you see these other walkers that are moving like humans that have knives in their hands charging the group. And then you see arrows flying, hitting the one that just stabbed Jesus. You see Michonne going out there, and Aaron, they're killing these walkers, whispers. And then boom, all these fake walkers, the whispers are dead. And at this moment, our group doesn't know what they are. We see Daryl pull Michonne aside because Daryl shows up last minute too. And he shows Michonne the back of the head, and it's a mask. And he pulls it off, and it's a real human. That's when they realize they're dealing with something much bigger than they had before, much weirder, creepier than they ever have. And it is freaky. It freaked me out, and I knew it was coming. What an intense moment. And it's only going to be way more intense from here on. Now I'm going to change and shift the subject a little bit on this episode, going to Gabriel and Negan. We see Gabriel really pursuing Negan in terms of being there and trying to help him, even though Negan's someone that people have wanted dead. And I just find it really interesting. I think it shows the true character of Gabriel and wanting to help people and being a good guy. And Negan tries to get to Gabriel. I think he does at some point, but you see it kind of fire back when Gabriel is brutally honest about how Negan has kept him from being with his loved one. Rosita's in trouble and he can't be there to help her. And I think immediately you see the side of Negan that Gabriel is trying to dig into and find. He says he's like sorry, and like, when do you hear Negan ever say sorry? Like, that never happens. So I think the Negan that Gabriel is trying to find popped out. And then the big thing, Gabriel did not lock the cell. Gabriel needs to learn how to freaking close doors. And then we see Henry and him just being a young, foolish man who can't take heartbreak and gets drunk, but also kills a walker because he feels bad. And it's kind of weird that they're just playing games with the walker. So overall, really just a great episode. R.I.P. Jesus, man, we're gonna miss you. And I'm gonna give this episode 10 out of 10 hands down. Probably one of the best episodes ever. Really maybe one of the best halves of a season we've ever had. It's just been jam-packed, non-stop, full speed. I don't think that the last episode was super fast-paced or anything, but I think it really set up this episode nicely for what played out in such a short amount of time, and is gonna propel the rest of season 9 into an interesting story. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you saw this episode, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more reviews coming your way. Thanks, guys.